For thousands of years, herds of giraffes have graced the plains of Africa and captivated humans in the process. To many Africans, giraffes are symbols of purity and grace. In Kenya, tribal mores once protected them. But today, the giraffe is becoming a mirage here. They are victims of escalating human encroachment. And yet there is still one place where they do roam in great numbers and thrive as they once did throughout Africa. Near the center of Kenya, in the foothills of Mount Kenya, is a secluded animal Eden known as Lewa Downs. Lewa Downs is an experimental conservation program, one now recognized as a model for all Kenya. This ranch is a paradise reminiscent of another time, a century ago, when Kenya was fabled for its staggering array of wildlife. Within this protective enclave, giraffes have also bolstered their numbers. But there's trouble in paradise. The giraffe population has in fact ballooned to unmanageable proportions. They now threaten the survival of other species here. The giraffes harvest a growing share of vegetation. Many of the trees, like these acacias, have been stripped bare by the oversized herds. But even as these populations mount, outside Lewa, giraffe numbers continue to decline. Poaching is to blame, as it is in so many wild parts of Africa. In only half a century, Kenya's human population has exploded from 5 to 30 million. Making a living is not always easy. Most of the soil here is not arable, and without enough farmland, there are those who resort to more desperate means to survive, like poaching. Lands surrounding Lewa belong to the Samburu people, close relatives of the famed Maasai. To them, the disappearance of giraffes here is particularly tragic. For hundreds of years, the Samburu people have embraced the giraffe as an important symbol of innocence and beauty, a belief passed down through many generations. As a result, they have become closely allied with the ranch, with many trained to serve as guards against the invading armies of poachers. The disappearing animals are a stolen inheritance. There's no way to bring them back. Or is there? Ian Craig has a plan. With too many giraffes on his own land, he and his team will attempt to relocate 200 of them from Lewa Downs to the Samburu lands. If they succeed, the giraffes will not only repopulate decimated Samburu herds, but also bring the tally of Lewa's giraffes back into balance. The plan makes sense. Executing it defies reason. How to move a giraffe? They live in herds of 5 to 10 animals. The idea then is to relocate them in their groups, in the hopes the transition will be less traumatic. But there's one problem: convincing the giraffes to cooperate. Craig will try to usher them into a waiting corral. Giraffes can grow as tall as 6 meters and weigh more than 1,000 kilos. They can gallop at speeds up to 55 kilometers per hour. That's why Craig hangs back. A giraffe's blood pressure is extraordinarily high, about 3 times that of a human. A giraffe's heart weighs up to 10 kilos. To force blood up that long neck, it must pump fully 60 liters per minute, 12 times what's expected of a human heart. If one panics, it can actually suffer a heart attack. With the animals now herded into a makeshift corral, the crew blocks their only exit. For this family of several females, a baby and 1 male, the terrifying ordeal is over. But another is about to begin. A truck bound for Samburu National Park awaits. The herd is skittish. As they close ranks, the calf is in danger of being trampled. As for the adult male, he could prove too dangerous on the road. This is one trip he is just as happy to be missing. The calf is now safely secured for the ride. However traumatic the roundup has been for them all, this is only the beginning. A giraffe would likely spend all 30 years of its life within 65 square kilometers of its birthplace. But all that is about to change for these unlikely travelers. The trip to Samburu land will be difficult, but the hopes of a species rides with this precious cargo. A family of 4 pioneers, leaving the only home they've ever known for an uncertain future. The voyage will take them from Lewa to Samburu National Park, 100 kilometers away. The wilds they're crossing are called the Badlands, for good reason. This stretch is infamous for its poachers. Heavily armed bandits called Shifta plague the area. For them, this would be a truckload of valuable hides and a strong lure. But beyond the Shifta's reach is the promise of safe haven. Among the Samburu. Under their discerning stares, it's unlikely poachers would attempt an ambush. At a remote Samburu town, the wilds of Africa meet the modern world. This is one shipment the locals are hardly prepared for. A close call for a long neck. For these accidental tourists, the way is again clear. Given their first brush with life outside of Lewa, the world beyond hardly seems inviting. But the road offers a promise. Next stop, wilderness. After a long journey, a simple bridge marks a threshold and a milestone. The Ewasa Niro River is the herd's first glimpse of life to come. These waters are a lifeline for Samburu land. Here, the great prides and herds of East Africa are drawn. Oryx antelopes, Giraffes zebras, impala, in these cooling waters, baboon families find relief from the intense African sun. So do the warthogs, along with the starlings and sparrows, all gather to quench their thirst. Now, joining the ranks of Samburu National Park is a truckload of weary travelers. Gone is the familiar horizon of home. In a short time, their entire world has disappeared. The giraffes are tense and easily startled. Hesitant as they are, their life in the park will be as good as it gets. Rangers here will protect them from poachers. For these emigrants, the Ewasa Niro River will mean both life and death. But after their long ride, thirst looms larger than fear, even though they must share the precious water with deadly predators. While drinking at river's edge, they place themselves in their most vulnerable position. But the giraffe has a powerful means of defense. When ambushed, they've been known to use their massive hooves to severely injure an attacking lion. For now, the newcomer's first concern is their calf. In a large herd, one cow is chosen by the others to be the nanny and protector for all the calves. First-year calf mortality is about 60%. Mostly they are eaten by hyenas, leopards, and especially lions. But silent death also lurks beneath these waters. At about 7 meters, crocodiles can use their massive tails like bats to hit their prey into the water. They can swallow small animals whole. For larger prey, powerful reptilian jaws twist and dismember the quarry. Luckily, giraffes can go weeks without visiting the river because of the food they eat. Acacia trees are 74% water. Besides elephants and giraffes, few other animals consume the succulent leaves at the top. They simply can't reach them. Using their 50-centimeter long tongues like hands, giraffes are adept at grabbing the juicy tips. It was long assumed giraffes grew to such heights merely to reach the treetops. But their necks aren't long for one purpose alone. Bulls use them in sparring matches to compete for females. If luck is with them, the females from the Lewa herd will find new mates. Those who win them must prove themselves first. They'll do so at some risk. A giraffe's neck can grow over 2 meters long and weigh more than 900 kilos. It packs a punch. They slam their heads into opponents with sometimes lethal force. In these deadly duels, males with the longest, thickest necks usually prevail, and the victor has his pick of the females. But even if this clash of mating competitions leaves him unharmed, he faces a more insidious threat. Those living in parks are safe from poachers, but they also become genetically isolated. This weakens the bloodlines and leaves the animals more vulnerable to disease. Moving individuals from Lewa to Samburu will provide a unique opportunity for bloodlines to mix, which will strengthen the giraffe's genes in the future. Ultimately, Craig and his team hope to raise the stakes. They want to release more giraffes outside the park, to repopulate areas completely stripped by poachers. Sadly, though, for now, most giraffes released outside Samburu National Park will probably be killed. But the Samburu people are determined. The giraffe is their charge, and on they'll struggle to save it, one relocated animal at a time. It's because of their help that Lewa Downs has so many giraffes. What better way to offer thanks than to return them to the wild, a gift for the Samburu. In the past 20 years, almost 50% of Kenya's wildlife has disappeared. Until the plains are safer, Edens like Lewa Downs are the only real sanctuaries for this emblem of Africa. If not for efforts like these, giraffes could become nothing more than characters in stories told to Samburu children. Stories about the days when tall, gentle beasts roamed Kenya's savannas.